Are you ready?
Rolling.
Getting to Moab, Utah, the hardest place. Now, it's not recommended to do a lot of this trail when it rains.
Man, the sight lines are so good in this Land Cruiser that I can actually see the rock I'm driving up.
On the brakes. Oh, Blaze! He caught himself.
Oh, there's the step and my mic fell off.
Oh, yeah! Slight, delicate whine. And as calming as it is, it's making me a little unsettled because it wasn't there this morning. Getting to Moab, Utah, the fun way, because just right there is Highway 191, the way everybody gets to Moab from I-70. But in today's rugged adventure brought to you by Onyx Off-Road, Case and I are taking two old vehicles and we're getting to Moab the fun way.
For our trip, I will be driving our usually trusty 2500 series Land Cruiser with a repaired front differential. So we'll get to see how this does here in Moab. We've got a new set of Yokohama Geolandar tires, which is going to help make it a little bit more capable.
And I am taking one of the biggest risks a man can take, at least according to the comments, because I'm driving my 20-year-old Land Rover more than 5 miles away from a repair shop. That's right, this is a 2006 Land Rover LR3. Let's air these tires down to about 25 PSI and hit the trail.
Tommy, do you have the Thor's Lightning?
Oh, Case. You know it. What's cool about this is we can air down all 4 tires at the same time.
What do you say to all the people that feel that you should be airing down to maybe 2-3 PSI?
I say to those people, I'm not as hardcore as you are. Clearly. Also, why? Why? I'm going down to 20. So much of the trail that we're going to be doing today is dirt roads, washboard, that kind of thing. So I still want some sidewall rigidity for cornering, but I also, I'm 1,000 years old and I want to be comfy. I mean, we're really putting two communities against each other. The Land Rover people and the Toyota people.
Yeah.
And we'll find out in the next 2-night adventure who makes it off the trail.
They're almost the same year though.
Yeah, they competed directly against each other. That's an 05, that's an 06. You got a few more miles though.
A few, yeah, 240,000.
This is 91,000, but this is half the price of that.
Plus, as most people will point out, this is a huge problem.
It's a huge red flag right
Two
there.
huge issues with this vehicle.
So, Case, what is the plan for day one?
Tommy, you spent a lot of time planning our trip for this rugged adventure, and what's cool is right now we're on a trail called Salt Valley to Yellow Cat, and the cool thing about it is that this is going to bring us the back way into Arches, which is a beautiful national park that is also known for some pretty long lines, but the way we're going means we can skirt around a lot of that.
That's the goal, Case. So we left Highway 191 just a few miles south of I-70, which is the main thoroughfare
through Utah. About 4 miles south, you go left, and then you start on this really incredible trail. Nothing too hard at first. I think it's only rated a 2 or 3 out of 10 on Onyx.
But what we're gonna do is slip into the greatest national park, maybe in the world, from the backside,
to avoid all the chaos and traffic that comes with the normal public. So I'm really excited to see if this works, and it should be an absolutely incredible view on the way in.
Yes, we're gonna hit it from the back.
I don't know if I would put it in so many terms, Case, but yes, you got it. The trail starts out as a beautiful dirt road that glides its way across the scenic desert. The views here are unbelievable, but it can get very muddy when wet. We came across this RV stuck in the muck that was being rescued by a Jeep Gladiator, so 4-wheel drive and good tires are a must in the rain. Now, it's not recommended to do a lot of this trail when it rains. Thankfully, we're a little bit removed from that, but even still, there is some fairly considerable mud. So Case, we're 10.3 miles into our trip from when we left the paved road, and where are we entering?
We are right now entering into Arches National Park, if this sign is to be believed, which is pretty exciting because I'm looking forward to the views ahead of us.
Now, some things worth noting. Even if you have a side-by-side that's plated, it's not allowed in Arches, so you're going to have to stop here. And another thing worth noting is, of course, you do have to pay an entry fee. So what I did is I went online the night before, spent the $30 per vehicle, and then saved it to my phone. So if we get asked about entry, that's all paid up for. It's $30 for the full week. All right, so we've come to a literal fork in the road, so we can continue going straight down Arches via Salt Valley Road, easy path, or we can take a quick detour to the Tower Arch 4x4 trail route and see what that's like. That's harder though, that's a 4 out of 10. It's a blue trail on Onyx.
We just recently put these Yokohama Geolanders on this Land Cruiser, and we haven't taken it on a trail, to my knowledge, since. So I'd like to go ahead and try out a few features with our newly tired Land Cruiser.
Rough road ahead, low range, 4-wheel drive, and high clearance required. That's where the fun starts.
Newly tired makes it sound like this Land Cruiser is fatigued.
Is it fatigued?
At 240,000 miles, they say it's just getting going.
I like your positive attitude. Now, this is a really fun adventure for a couple of reasons.
First of all, both these vehicles, you know, same exact era, and they're both pretty much stock except for some upgraded rubber. So we're going to be able to see on some of these more technical trails which one has the advantage in the real world.
There's definitely a few nice additional features you've added to your LR3. You have rock sliders instead of the side steps that this Land Cruiser still has on it, and you have a winch up front, which is also pretty helpful. But this Land Cruiser is just a phenomenal vehicle. Even 240,000 miles and 20 years later, it feels like a slab of granite going down the trail. It is just solid as a rock.
It weighs about as much, doesn't it, Case?
Fair point, it is almost 5,500 pounds. How much does your LR3 weigh?
Not far off that, to be honest with you.
The LR3, though, is a little bit of a different beast. It's a lot more tech-heavy. Adjustable air suspension, adjustable terrain modes, right? So this is a vehicle that's
more in line with what you'd expect in 2026 than a vehicle from 2006.
All right, so this Tower Arch 4x4 trail, well, this might get kind of interesting because it's not recommended to do in the rain, and
just now we started hitting some rain. So
we're gonna have to, you know, take it a little easy and see what some of our line options are.
Should make things interesting, if nothing else.
And that's what we're all about, Case, making things interesting, if nothing else.
Arch 4x4 trail is definitely harder than the road we took getting into the park. That was more or less a graded gravel road. This is a proper 4-wheel drive trail, and I definitely recommend you have at least a low range and 32-inch tall all-terrain tires. Because there are some ledges and some obstacles you do need to climb up, and having that control that low range gives you is a must. Now, both of these vehicles are doing excellent, but I've got a little bit of an advantage over Case because with my height adjustable suspension, I can jack it up a little bit and get that additional clearance I need. And the views are stunning.
Definitely gotta get a shot of this.
I was just saying, the views are berserk from up here. You get these incredible towers and buttes that extend just from over the landscape as far as the eye can see. And with the rain clearing here, you get this really cool silhouette. How awesome is that? So joining me on this trip is, of course, the ever awesome Blaze. Blaze! He's shy. First time in his whole life, but he's got to stay in the car because throughout most of Arches National Park, you can't have dogs outside the car.
Look how embarrassing that is. Him selfie mode, filming himself.
Listen, man. Hashtag influencing, am I right?
Did I see you with your hood up a second ago?
I just checking some stuff out. If you
You just like the look of that Ford V6?
you want to come on over here, there's like a, you can hear that. A really slight, delicate whine. And as calming as it is, it's making me a little unsettled because it wasn't there this morning.
It's the whine of horsepower. I'll tell you what, the combination of Ford engine and Land Rover, everything else, is not the most encouraging.
Byword for reliability right there. This trail is a hidden gem and our first taste of Slick Rock. Slick Rock is a Moab icon and very grippy when dry. A decent four-wheel drive and good tires should get you across this trail with no problem.
Go hard passenger, yeah.
Sounds like a container ship over rough seas.
So midway through the Tower Arch Road, there is a bailout back to the main paved road, or we're just gonna keep going, make it all the way out to the Tower Arch. We made it this far, about halfway through that Tower Arch Road. Let's just keep going.
And just like that, with some movie magic, we're at the end of the trail, quick as anything. And here at the end of Tower Arch Trail, there's a little walking path where you can get all the way over to the actual arch itself, walk around it, check it out a little bit. If you haven't seen it, it is very cool. Tommy and I don't think we're gonna do the short hike because we're hungry and tacos are calling our name.
We've got tacos, and you get a pretty good view of the various arches here from the actual trail. So if you have some mobility issues, you more or less can see what you're trying to see.
Or if you're lazy like us.
So the LR3 is perfect in every way.
Yes, right.
It's so perfect, in fact, that it's excited to see me.
Oh, how do you mean?
Well, if you look there, there's a little light that says low because we're going over mountains. And the one next to it, it's jumping up and down with excitement. And or that's a suspension fault.
Interesting. But it's not so dramatic of one that it's dropping down.
It's a yellow suspension fault. Yeah, it happens sometimes. You know, it's still in the off-road height, so we're just gonna keep cruising with it. And maybe tonight before we go to bed, we'll scan it and see what's going on.
Do you have your gap tool?
I sure do.
Good man.
Good man! Land Rover guy never leaves without his diagnostic tools.
Tommy, I gotta be honest, I can't find any fault with the suspension on the 100 series.
Well, it's low and lame. Look how much lower your car sits than my car.
Well,
See that? Look at that gap right there.
the side steps they don't help.
Is it rubbing?
No, it hasn't touched down yet.
Wow, so we've proved so far you can fit a 275/70 R18 on a Land Cruiser with no lift. Take that to the forums, Case. The trail out to the main park road is incredibly scenic. Rated a 3 out of 10, none of it is that technical, but there are parts of it where it feels like you're driving straight through a Wild West movie. Now I know you guys are going to look at this video and you're going to say, look at that idiot and his old Land Rover. It's already throwing fault codes 20 miles into the journey. And yes, you're right. But I cannot express to you how much I've adored this LR3. I've owned it for going on 24,000 miles now, just over 2.5 years. And it's been the best vehicle I've ever owned, actually. What you've seen in this video has been, swear on my heart, the only warning light I've had in the past 2.5 years. It has been flawless, this car, and it continues to impress me, the bandwidth at what it's good at. If I'm going to a fancy hotel with my wife, it's comfortable enough, it looks classy enough to fit in. If I want to come out to Utah, I stick in the low range, raise the suspension, and do trails like that. You know, if I need to carry people around, it's got the space to do that. It just does everything so well. I love it. I can't believe I only paid $4,567 for it, and all I have to do is regular maintenance. You know, I've changed the oil, I had to do lower control arm bushings, I had to put a drive shaft in it because the little bushing was starting to go bad, but that's not out of the ordinary for a typical 20-year-old car now. That's right, this car is 20 years old, so you expect maintenance items to go bad. You know, it took us about an hour and a half, 2 hours to do the full blue trail there and to see the arch, and it was well worth it. You know, the main road that we're on, pretty much any crossover could do. For that blue route, I would recommend having a vehicle with a low range and 32-inch tall all-terrains, but you could probably get away with something like a Bronco Sport or even maybe a Subaru Wilderness on something like that. But now we're back on the green here. This is called 10 Mile Valley, and this is going to snake us through the Arches Park and then ultimately back onto the main paved road. And this is a very sandy road so far, not particularly hard, but you do want to watch your speed through here, or you could end up slamming something pretty hard underneath. So about 27 miles into our journey, we have come to a sign here. We can go left to the main park road or right toward more blue level four-wheel drive routes. Now you can see the sun. We've got about 2 hours of sun left. It's about 5:15, 5:30 in the evening. So I think we're gonna go left toward the main park road and then snake our way out of Arches. And just like that, we are back in civilization. There's Balanced Rock, one of the more famous monuments here in Arches National Park. Look how cool that is. Absolutely phenomenal. That is so cool. And that right there, that is pavement. Oh, what a cool sight. So total, we've spent 28 miles off-road, 2 hours and 58 minutes, so almost 3 hours exactly. That was a great route. Really, really enjoyed that. And now we don't have to deal with the mess of trying to get into Arches National Park by the visitor center. We are already here. We snuck in, totally legally, of course. But yeah, what a cool route. Now, I'm gonna track us into Moab, Utah, and we're off to get some dinner. All right, well, check it out. We've made it down to the visitor center. Now, this is the main entrance to Arches National Park, and it gets so busy. I mean, I've personally waited here about 45, 50 minutes just to make it to the entry gate. That's how bad the traffic can be in peak season, but no traffic the route we came. So if you're willing to get a little dirty, you can see the incredible views and vistas of Arches National Park without waiting in line. You still have to pay the fee, which you can do online, but you don't have to wait in a line. So now we're just cruising slowly out past the little hut. Yeah, so this road here gets just a parking lot worth of cars waiting to get into Arches in the morning. Not if you've got a Land Rover or a Land Cruiser. All right, final update for the night. Check this out. Okay, my seatbelt's not on, but no more warning lights. I just power cycled it and that suspension fault went away. Back in business, baby.
It's the start of day 2 and we've got a couple pretty rad trails in mind. So we're in the Sand Flats recreation area. It's $10 per vehicle to get in here. This parking lot is the entrance for Hell's Revenge, which is obviously a fantastic trail, but today we're gonna hit Baby Lion's Back and of course our favorite, Fins and Things, Tommy.
That's right, so it's gonna be a great mix of some optional rock crawling before we hit the dirt and head up into the mountains where we're gonna camp for the night. So Case, let's see which of these two survives the rocks.
Yeah, and basically from the entrance of Fins and Things on, for the rest of our camping adventure, there's gonna be no bathrooms left over. So there are a few at some of the trailheads here, but once you get deep into the trails, not so much. And I think Tommy is planning to do an obstacle that we call the wall with his beloved LR3, right?
Am I?
I think you are. I don't
Case,
know.
we got a lot of miles to do today.
I don't know if the side steps on the Toyota would survive that.
Baby Lion's Back is just a quick 10-minute detour from the main route. It's right off the main road, just past the entrance to Sand Flats. And you've got this steep climb that looks very scary, but is really not that hard as long as it's not wet. And speaking of not being wet, on the far side of Fins and Things, sometimes there can be a puddle. Sometimes there can be a genuine pond, so you really want to make sure you know what you're getting into. Now, you can walk around the back to check out that puddle. It's a little bit of a thrill ride for sure, and I definitely recommend doing it. If your vehicle's got low range and decent tires, it's no problem, and it is a ton of fun, and you get to scare your passengers. It's all good. It's all good, and it's safe too. No one's getting hurt on Baby Lion's Back unless you do something really dumb. But I'm gonna get the drone in the air and we're gonna see, before we start this one-way trail, how bad that puddle really is. So Case, for Baby Lion's Back, it's recommended to go into low range here, and then I'm going to stick my Land Rover into rock crawl, raise the suspension, and turn on hill descent. Are you gonna do all that stuff too?
Sounds like just another thing to fail, Tommy. This Land Cruiser, always in rock crawl mode.
Always, huh?
Exactly. I didn't stutter.
Well, I mean, we'll see if you've got the clearance and the cojones for Baby Lion's Back with that, essentially street-going automobile right there.
The only thing that took cojones on this was you bringing that Subaru DL up it.
Yeah, the thing about Baby Lion's Back is a lot of people bring up a lot of stuff that probably shouldn't be up here, and you can, it's very entertaining, but it's also like carving a Thanksgiving dinner with a spork. I mean, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and if you're somewhat of a beginner off-roader, I'd maybe recommend something with some tires and some, traction aids.
Man, the sightlines are so good in this Land Cruiser that I can actually see the rock I'm driving up, which, for anyone who's taken any remotely modern vehicle up this, as they know, you're typically just looking at blue. You're just looking at sky. But the visibility in this is unreal.
I do have to say though, Case, as good as that is, the Land Rover might be even a little better because I've got something called the command driving position, which is essentially a seat that hovers over everything, and I've got these super low windowsills so I can easily see just the entire world out the front and side of my LR3. But I think the lesson we've learned here is cars in general have gotten so much worse in terms of visibility. Everything now is like driving a cave, but these old things are awesome.
Yeah, this is back before you needed cameras to go off-road. Look, ultimately you never really need cameras, but in a lot of modern cars, it genuinely helps because the visibility is so bad, but not in these machines.
Now, Case, Baby Lion's Back is a really cool little trail. It takes just a few minutes to do, but it's a great taster as to why people love Moab, because this terrain is not entirely exclusive, but, you know, for the most part, what Moab is known for.
It's definitely a worthwhile detour. It's pretty cool to be up on top of it. You get a good view of your surroundings, and obviously the surroundings here are pretty spectacular, so there's just no reason to skip it.
Absolutely, and like I said, the great thing about
Slick Rock, which is what we're driving on, is even though it's called Slick Rock, it's actually incredibly grippy. Unless it's very wet or icy. But if it's dry like this, it's like driving on tarmac, it's so grippy. Now, I'm going down this steep hill. I'm using my hill descent control, Case. Look at that. That's all the Land Rover. Even 20 years ago, they had hill descent control. How cool is that? And then at the bottom is this little pond. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang a right through the pond. Oh yeah. Now we're off-roading, my dude.
You know, I still don't really understand hill descent control. Is there ever a situation where you would prefer not to be the one doing the driving?
Yeah, I mean, if you're, you know, trying to do your makeup or eat a sandwich and you're off-road, it's pretty helpful.
I feel like most people go off-road because they want to do the off-roading, but I think it's one of those features that just because they can and the electronics are there, they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think for people that are new to off-roading, it does, you know, reduce some of the pressure that is associated with it, especially with steep descents, but I think for most folks, the brake pedal's probably fine. Well, just like that, took us a few minutes to do Baby Lion's Back. It's a little bit of a thrill ride for sure.
And I definitely recommend doing it. If your vehicle's got low range and decent tires, it's no problem, and it is a ton of fun, and you get to scare your passengers. It's all good. It's all good, and it's safe too. No one's getting hurt on Baby Lion's Back unless you do something really dumb.
Pretty much any reasonably rugged vehicle can do it. If Tommy did it in a 70s Subaru station wagon, you'll probably be fine in most rugged machines. Baby Lion's Back is a great appetizer trail for some of the awesome rock features you can crawl nearby, and we'd be hard-pressed to find ourselves in this area and not make our way over to Fins and Things, one of our favorite trails in Moab, period. So Tommy, tell me a little bit more about your LR3. Is it in the shop every 15 minutes?
You know, believe it or not, it can last 20-25 minutes before dealership repairs. But no, I mean, this is a 2006 LR3. This one's a little bit unusual because it's a total base model. It's got no sunroofs, and it also, as you were poking fun of me earlier, has the V6. So this is a 4-liter gas V6 instead of the 4.4 V8 that most LR3s have, which is a much better engine to begin with. Now I'm going to give you 3 pros and 3 cons of the LR3. The first pro, it is incredibly practical. It is a giant box. They didn't try to hide the fact it's a box, and you can carry a crud ton of stuff behind you. You can also get an optional 3rd row, so it's a practical family car. Second pro, it's unbelievably comfortable. This has got 4-corner air suspension. It floats over anything. It's like a 1970s Cadillac. And then the 3rd pro, for being essentially a 3-row luxury SUV,
it's also very capable.
All right, well, like yourself, I'll give 3 pros and 3 cons here with the Land Cruiser. Number 1 pro with this vehicle is pretty obvious. We can all say it together now. Reliability. It's got the legendary 2UZ V8, known to go as many as 1 million miles. So it's as dependable as the endless march of time. That's the number 1 thing it has going for it. Number 2 that it has going for it is also incredibly comfortable. Toyota for decades now, they've known how to build a really impressive suspension. And look, I love lift kits as much as the next guy.
But there's a lot of trails that you could do without one, and the factory suspension
is so fine-tuned. It makes this an incredibly nice vehicle to drive. And number 3 is the community there is around these vehicles. You can really turn a 100 series Land Cruiser into just about anything that you want.
Now I'm going to give you 3 cons of the LR3. Are you ready? Con number 1, it handles like an absolute tugboat on the road. If you want to take turns quickly, there's no worse vehicle than an LR3. Con number 2, the fuel economy is pretty horrific. Even with the V6, you're lucky to average 15 mpg. The V8's more like 14. And then the final con is, well, I'm not even going to say reliability because this is genuinely the most reliable Land Rover. 06 through 09 are the years you want, and they can last several 100,000 miles. But my con number 3 is going to be the aftermarket support. It's just not as big as the Toyota or Jeep community.
Yeah, despite what a lot of the fanboys think, there are actually some drawbacks with even this vehicle. For one, they can be a little bit on the pricey side, even for vehicles this age, so you might be shopping around for a $12,000 to $15,000 Land Cruiser that's got 250, 300,000 miles or more. Maybe it's got a little rust on it, and look, I get they're still pretty solid vehicles even with all of that factored, but you don't necessarily get quite as much for your money as you can with some other marquees. Number 2 con, this is a heavy machine, even compared to other four-wheel drive SUVs. Tips the scales, this particular one, just under 5,500 pounds. And you feel that when you're driving it.
because it does kind of lumber around a little bit.
And finally, the somewhat little talked about Achilles heel on these is this independent front suspension. There's plenty of IFS setups that are perfectly solid, but the front diff on this in particular isn't the most durable thing in the whole world. There are 2 different front diffs in these 100 series. There are 2 pinion and 4 pinions, and people say that the 4 pinions are stronger, but it's definitely the weak point in this vehicle. We broke the front end on this once already on the trail, so it's something you got to keep in mind, especially if you're going to throw a lot of extra tire on it.
So I think it really comes down to 2 things: budget and your ability to deal with quirks. So what I mean by that is you can pick up a good LR3 for $6,000 and it will likely last you 50, 100,000 miles. But you have to stay up on regular maintenance. If you want, a vehicle that's just going to work flawlessly right off the bat, spend 15, 20 grand, get a 100 series. In terms of off-road capability case, which one of these 2 do you think could take you further down a trail?
Well, if by further down a trail you mean distance, then it's the Land Cruiser, obviously. I do think in some ways the LR3 is a better rock crawler, especially in stock form. You can get a lot of height out of that suspension, and credit where credit's due. The four-wheel drive programming, terrain response on that machine is really impressive, so it makes for a good rock crawler, all things considered. This Land Cruiser is a better overlander because it's very comfortable, very long-lived, so if you're planning to go deep into the bush and still do some pretty difficult features, you really can't go wrong with one of these.
Oh, you had to say bush. Now all the comments are going to say if you want to go into the bush, take a Land Rover. If you want to come back out, you take a Land Cruiser. And I get that.
But I still stand by 06 or 09 LR3s can be reliable, dependable vehicles. And I know that because a lot of you guys out there have purchased them, sometimes based off our videos, and the majority of you I've talked to absolutely love them. There's 1 or 2, like our old coworker Alex, that hated it, but he also didn't want to put a single dollar into it, so it's it's one of those things.
Yeah, ultimately we have owned 3 LR3s and they've all been
Pretty solid.
We're like halfway through this trip, so don't want to be too kind to this thing yet.
Now this is a fun little side obstacle. You can bypass this, but I like to take it. It's called frame bender. At least that's what we call it. It's this really steep descent with this little step in the middle, and let's see if Case can clear in that stock cruiser.
So this will be interesting to see because I've got my single-use sliders on here, otherwise known as side steps. And if I drag those, they might not fare too well. But just to restate, this Land Cruiser has a good amount of clearance, bone stock, and now we've got a slightly bigger tire on it. So we're really doing okay overall.
Okay, you got 2 feet. Go a little, just a little, yeah.
It makes the sound of a large ship on rough seas. But I haven't heard the steps touch down, so I think we're okay. Once again, I love suspension lifts as much as anybody, but you don't necessarily need them even for some pretty neat trails. Touching down a little on the hitch back there. But wow, all things considered, pretty good performance from a mostly unmodified vehicle. It's once again one of the many reasons that these machines are so well liked and so impressive, is even in stock form, there's a lot that you could do with it.
One of the wild things about this LR3 is that it is on bone stock suspension from a hardware standpoint, and original, which is crazy. So the airbags are date coded 05. They're 21 years old. So for those of you saying air suspension doesn't last, it can. This one lasted 21 years, which is pretty wild. And it can jack itself up surprisingly high. I think even higher than that Land Cruiser. All right. So I'm going gently down the frame bender. Case didn't scrape. Let's see if I do on the brakes. Oh, Blaze! He caught himself. No scrape though. How about the tail? This is where Case did scrape.
Roll over.
Oh!
No scrape at all?
No scrape on the tail. So from a clearances standpoint, this is a little better. Now, one of the cool things you can do with these air suspensions is you buy something called the gap tool. You plug it into the OBD and you can actually set the standard ride height. And I set it just a centimeter or 2 higher above stock. And then it still goes up and down just like originally would. And it's all done through software, which is very, very cool.
All right, this is called One Tree Hill. We call it One Tree Hill because there's one tree on this hill.
As solid as Land Cruisers are, and they are very solid. This one's making a little bit of interesting noise right now. They can still suffer from issues here and there. It's not impossible. Stay in the throttle. Good traction, good deal.
And that is A-Track doing its thing.
It's almost making a sound like the parking brake is dragging, but it's off. It's as off as it'll go. It's just making some extra noise. But it's driving just fine, as you just saw. No problem getting up One Tree Hill. So I think we'll just get a little further along the trail, poke our head under it, see what we can see, if anything, but it might be okay.
Let's see how the four-wheel drive system reacts differently in this than it did in the Cruiser. So I'm going to try to take the same line. First gear, low range, rock crawl mode. Yep. Oh yeah. Works great. So just like that Land Cruiser, no lockers on either of these vehicles, but the brakes can activate, slow down spinning wheels, and get us where we need to go. So Fins and Things is technically divided into 2 halves. This is the first half. It takes about 45 minutes or an hour to do the first half, and then you actually cross the main Sandflats Road to get to the second half. Now, we're not going to do the second half today because that takes us in the wrong direction. We want to be heading to the right, and that would be left. But this is a great trail. It's not super technical. 4 out of 10. If you love the paint on your rear bumper, maybe look elsewhere, because there are some areas where you will end up scraping, but it's not actually that hard or dangerous, and likely your vehicle will make it off, just maybe with a couple scratches in the rear bumper. You'll see why here in a sec. So this is an obstacle we call Butt Scratcher. It's a steep descent, very steep, and you'll see why here in a sec.
This final obstacle is pretty steep. It's really a big test of not only departure angle, and we're gonna run out of that, I'm gonna drag the hitch, no doubt, but also approach angle, because we've frequently dug front bumpers into the dirt.
First we have to see if Case's nose clears here.
A lot of times this is pretty dry and it's more soft, silty sand, but at the moment, it's kind of a hard-packed mud surface. And man, the brakes are noisy, but do have a lot of traction with these Yokohama Geolanders. So overall,
yeah, look at that approach.
Pretty good.
Oh, maybe I spoke too soon.
Is it dragging a little bit?
No, you're pretty good actually.
Ooh, nice.
Now for the fun part. It'd be helpful if you've got a receiver in, or something if you had a hitch, because you'll see why.
Yeah.
There goes the bumper.
Dragging it. There's just no way around it.
Oh no, it's not the bumper, it's the tow hook.
Nice.
Oh, crafty Toyota engineers.
For that exact reason, pretty good.
Dang, Toyota was smart to put a tow hook right there.
And that's kind of the end of the portion of Fins and Things that we typically run with all of these vehicles when we're filming, because it's a lot of good testing and obstacles that you get even in that little stretch. And man, this Land Cruiser, it can do so much, despite the fact that it doesn't have expensive steel bumpers, doesn't have a crazy lift, doesn't even have sliders, it's just got these side steps. It's still so capable.
All right, Case made it really no problem. Let's see how my Rover does. Make sure we're in the max height.
What are you scared about?
And then what I can do, I can even jack it up a little higher to an ultra high height. Let's see if I scrape my back. A little, but not bad actually. Easy.
The clearance on this LR3.
Pretty good.
It is pretty good.
For essentially a stock vehicle with just a slightly bigger tire, walk through it. All right, well, us and Blaze made it to the end of the Fins and Things trail, at least the first half here. And that's like a really fun little detour if you want to experience some rock crawling. You don't want to really damage your vehicle or go too extreme. That's a great option. So from here on out, it's mostly dirt roads for the rest of our journey out of Moab the fun way. Now I'm at 20 PSI, actually slightly under here, and you can really see that sidewall bulging. And speeds are going to go up a little bit, and I think I'm going to air up maybe to 27 or 30, just so I still have some added traction, but it's a little bit more stable at the higher speeds. Nice. From here we turned right onto Sandflats Road, and I've never experienced this drive, and let me tell you what, it is absolutely incredible. It starts out as a beautiful dirt road that glides its way along the base of a canyon, and the views are simply to die for. Some of the best views I've ever seen in Utah, and infrequently visited by most people in their four-wheel drives. Now it is a climb. We are ascending to over 8,000 feet above sea level, so be prepared for that added elevation. Make sure you take breaks, make sure you drink plenty of water. But it starts out as an easy trail that we quickly learned turns quite a bit harder.
Update in the 100 Series Land Cruiser. I just talked to Tommy. We reset our trip odometers after filling up at the fuel station. I'm averaging 6.1 mpg according to the ancient center screen here on this Land Cruiser. Tommy somehow is averaging 5.6. So I've got 2 more cylinders, and yet I'm getting better fuel economy than he is. So overall, I think the Land Cruiser is doing a lot of things right. Now ultimately, neither of these vehicles are very fuel efficient, that is true, but at least they're slow. We're currently on our way out of Moab, heading into National Forest, which is the direction that we're gonna be camping towards. This is the more scenic, more entertaining way to leave the town of Moab, even though driving on the highway is also a pretty way to go about it. And currently we're at about 7,200 feet, so we are climbing as we head this direction. Blaze, what do you think of Tommy's plan? Do you think he made a good plan? I think that means he likes it.
Now, we're cruising along Sand Flats. It's been a beautiful dirt road, and there's a few different routes we can take through this part of the trail network. We're gonna try to take the shortcut, which is up this fairly gnarly little climb. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this Land Rover into the mud and rut setting, and we're gonna see if we can actually do this climb. Back in a low range. Now, this is supposed to be a green rated trail, but this is definitely looking more blue than green. Come on, Rover. Let's see what you got, buddy. All right, now we've got this slick climb. Come on, baby. Tires are working for it. They're working for it. Come on. Come on. Got the revs up. Yeah, I made it to the top. All right, not bad.
Now, Tommy didn't have too much issue getting up to the top, but pretty sure his LR3 is notably lighter. So I'm really gonna put a lot of pressure on these Geolanders to get me up to the top of the hill, and I'll have to maintain a bit of momentum as I get to the steeper section of it. So we'll see how we do, because certainly weight, like we've discussed, is a factor here in the 100 series. No problem so far, keeping good grip. As I get past these couple of rocks, I'm gonna keep a little bit of speed going up here. Nothing too much, we wanna keep good control, but just enough momentum. And honestly, from where I'm sitting, there's a bit of slip, but not that much. That is no problem whatsoever. So really good performance in some relatively slick mud. Looked like the LR3 struggled a little bit, and he tapped down onto his rock slider a tad. So clearly he's had more clearance than I have throughout the day. I don't have full control over my line, because even if I try to skew right or left, the angle that I'm at is going to slide me kind of wherever gravity wants to take me. So we'll see how we do as far as these side steps go.
Nice.
Oh, there's the step. And my mic fell off. I dropped the mic for a sec, but I got up the rock, which is cool. I think that went about as well as it could. I'm sure that was the step.
Frame.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Step is still there.
Oh, it's living another day.
Nice work, dude. Now, this part of the trail is called the Coco Pelli Trail, and the Coco Pelli Trail is actually a very popular bike route that starts in Grand Junction and goes to Moab, and this section is rated a 2 out of 10, which it might be had it not been so wet.
Yeah, I think the moisture has definitely upped it a little bit. One of the trails that we were on yesterday was a 4 out of 10, and this is, at least when it's muddy, every bit that challenging.
Now, the big deal with this here, folks, is it's got just like a thin layer of mud on it right now, because it's been a little while without extreme moisture. But if it was any muddier than this, I would say don't go on it, because you'll just end up digging huge grooves and damaging the trail.
Yeah, there were a few ruts in there on some of the muddier sections than this that were pretty impressive. I mean, look at this.
She's caked.
Absolutely.
It's funny, I aired up to 27 back at that trailhead because I thought, dirt roads, but
10.
Should have kept it at 20.
Yeah.
All right, so Case and I are cruising along, and look what we found. This is actually really neat. This is a frame and an engine from an old, what kind of truck, Case?
International.
International. Oh no, Case. Needs a head gasket. It's got water in the cylinders. Ah, but look at the rings. The rings are still good. Holding water?
Yeah. Well, it's got a head gasket. It just maybe needs a better one.
That's cool. Look at this! We have found a road! Case sliding to the finish line. Road, Case!
Road!
Nice!
Good news.
Alright, there should be like an overlook over there. Maybe we just drive up there and get some lunch.
I like it. Got a few options. Some bread,
Nice.
some other bread,
Nice.
and then our cooler as well, housed in here, does have some food underneath all of the Pure Leaf Unsweet Tea, which is basically, well, behind the scenes, the only thing that Roman and Tommy drink.
It's the only thing worth drinking, Case.
We've got Boar's Head, which is not for Blaze, because you're probably lactose intolerant, if I had to guess.
Oh, but he wants it. Look at him go. Blazy.
We have cold cuts and hummus.
You want to hear something tragic, Case?
What?
I think I left our mayonnaise at the house.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not a huge mayonnaise guy.
Yeah, well, I also left the mustard at the house.
I am intrigued by this. Do you drink coffee?
No, that, you'll find out what that's for later. That's
Okay.
very cool.
All right. It's Colombia coffee. I've gotten Colombian coffee in Colombia.
There's something special about that Colombian coffee, though. It's not cocaine, but there's...
It's not full of drugs.
Well, we've been cruising along on the road now for about 10 miles since we've had lunch. This is a little kind of transition section to get to the next off-road trail. It's a 2-lane paved road, beautiful. Maybe a few bikes here, but you're really not going to see anyone else. When the paved road turned to dirt, we were greeted with incredible views, but very different than what we saw down in Moab. The red rock had transitioned into this incredible forest route, and we were on the way to find our dispersed camping spot for the night. The routes that's supposed to lead to a pretty cool dispersed camping spot off the main road. It is very pinstripey though. So I'd say if you're gonna camp along the section, which I recommend you do because there's a lot of beautiful areas, maybe stay on the main road and find something closer to the main road, because in these 20-year-old rigs, we're not super worried about it, but in a brand new rig, I would not want to bring a new Land Cruiser down here, that's for sure. This is narrow and stripey. No problem for my $4,000 paint though. It's the car, not the paint job is less. This is what I was going for, Case, the dream, the marsh.
Yes, it's twiggy, but it's ours. Got level, backing onto a couple little rocks here, so sitting pretty nice. Tommy, can I walk you through my incredible setup?
Yeah, let's see, Case.
So I removed all of the seats behind the front row to make space for the memory foam mattress that I typically put in the bed of my truck when I'm out camping somewhere. I got my down comforter. I got some nice pillows and all kind of amenities. I got a little Goal Zero battery. I got my camp stove and some different things. But Tommy, it would be true to say that, like yourself, I am a Land Rover owner, which means I am cheating on my vehicle just a little bit, which means I brought some light reading.
Where did you get this?
They send it to me.
Every month.
Every month.
Wow, I'm surprised this Land Cruiser made it
And
here.
then a few of your favorites.
Ah,
Some
yes.
paragliding magazines.
That's right. These are my favorites. I'm surprised you made it all the way down this with this unreliability stored in your back seat, Case.
I know, and not only that, Tommy, but technically, I do have my first Land Rover with me. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Oh no. A Land Rover right there.
Look at that. The problem is there's no rocks.
No, there are those little rocks over where we drove in.
Maybe we'll go walk over there and do some Land Rovering. Look at that. That's awesome. So unlike Case, my camping setup is significantly less cozy because I got lazy. I couldn't do the mattress thing. So I've got like my little pad, some pillows, and then a spot for Blaze. Hopefully it works.
And you see, can you see into the cab the brushless motor spinning?
Oh yeah. Whoa. So Case, what are we looking at here?
The nerdiest car adjacent thing in the whole world, right, Tommy?
So Case and I are both into scale RCs, and this isn't just any scale model because what Case built here may look small, but it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, so growing up, Tommy and I both had Traxxas vehicles, and this one, the platform that it's on is Traxxas TRX 4M. Let's see if we can't bump this. Nope. So this is a Traxxas TRX 4M platform, but it's an aluminum body made by a company called Meus, I think, M-E-U-S. And they make these cool aluminum bodies because most of the bodies and everything are all plastic. This one's got a brushless motor. It's designed to look like a Bronco. Still got some figuring out to do though, because it seems like there's some slip that goes on in the transmission.
Is there a slipper clutch?
No. So you know, I don't know exactly why it does all of that, but yeah, it's got like 1.2 inch wheels and I think 72 millimeter tires or something. It's, I don't know, it's fun when you're out camping and you're kind of done wheeling for the day in actual rigs. You can go mess around with these a little bit around your campfire.
And what's cool about these is they are fully customizable. So wheels, tires, suspension, axles, steering components, right? Case, I mean, everything that you could do to one of these on a real truck, you can do in 24 scale?
This one's an 18th scale.
Okay, a little bigger.
But yeah, you can customize everything so much so that I actually didn't buy a Traxxas TRX 4M to build this one. I just picked all of the individual parts that I wanted from a bunch of different companies like Meus and Endura, and a couple Traxxas parts, like the brushless motor is actually a Traxxas part. Definitely, I still got some things to sort out on it, but it's cool. The brushless motor is fun because it's...
Oh, it's fast.
Yeah, it's also pretty sporty.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they're neat little machines. It's you're not going to impress any ladies with it. My wife doesn't think that much of it, but I have fun with it, and that's all that really matters.
But I want to show you this. I think this is pretty cool. I don't really have a need for this right now, but it is a really cool piece of tech. We just picked up this Starlink Mini, and it's sitting here on my clear coat faded roof, and you could see even in the middle of absolute nowhere, we'll still load our website. Let's see if we can watch a video here. I'm curious. Like I said, I don't really need this right now. I just wanted to try it. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, for sure. Look at that. Watching an ad. I'm making me money, Case.
You're making yourself money. How many dollars is that?
That's $0. But look, clearly, I mean, that's working.
Find out what's the best.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So one good thing about our slightly dreary looking campsite is it's wide open. So Case can get his kite out and I can get my little Starlink Mini out. The biggest problem with this is currently it's connected via this adapter straight into my 12 volt, and that's just gonna kill it if I let that go for too long. Case brought a Goal Zero. Look at this thing. So now I no longer have to send each text using the mighty power of the 4-liter Ranger V6. So I'm going to show you my secret weapon for tonight because it's supposed to get into the high 30s, and even in a car that's pretty cold. Now my buddy Eric Ross, we've done some videos with him. He's a professional off-road recovery expert, gave me this tip, and I'm gonna try it tonight. So when he's out on I-70 in the wintertime, and he's worried about, you know, getting stranded on the road because I-70 closes for whatever reason, he takes a metal coffee can, fills it with toilet paper, and then buys 70% isopropyl alcohol, spritzes it on top, and then this is a very clean burning heat source he can use inside the car. Now it does sound a little crazy, but I thought I'd give it a try and hopefully don't burn the whole car to the ground. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna spritz just a little isopropyl. Eric, if you're watching this, I'm hoping I'm doing this right. We got our matches. Yeah, that's probably good to start with. Once again, you want to use a metal coffee can, which is getting kind of hard to find. Then we're going to take our match. There we go. And now we've got a very clean burning heat source for when we're in the car. Still weirds me out having an open flame in a car. So I'm not sure I'll actually do this, but I've always wanted to try it.
Don't flames use oxygen?
Quite famously. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That weirds me out a little. But I guess it works in a pinch.
Right, bud. Blaze. In.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Right where I need to go, probably. Please.
Very confused.
I'm coming, bud.
None too pleased.
It's gonna be an interesting night, huh, bud? You comfy? That was cold last night, huh, boys? Ooh, it's like 40. Blaze seems fine with the situation.
Back on the trail and heading towards Colorado eventually. We've got Onion Creek left to do and a decent amount of trail running in Utah before we get on the highway to head back home. But it's nice to be back on the road. I've had a breakfast of Uncrustable and Red Bull, which, you know, very sweet immediately after brushing your teeth. So I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it, but it's serving me pretty well so far. Now we do scrub past a lot of branches to get in and out of where we set up camp for the night. We weren't sure exactly what we would find down there, but by the time we had got to that clearing that we saw on the map, felt kind of committed because we scrubbed past all of these branches to get to it. It would have been pretty heartbreaking to scrub past all of them again for nothing. So I think our campsite was a decent spot to be at. Definitely, obviously very low traffic because it's kind of out of the way of the main trail. It's just this smaller trail to get to that little area. But it's not too bad. Ultimately, both of these are relatively affordable SUVs. We didn't buy them because they have the most beautiful paint in the world. Tommy's $4,500 LR3 has all kinds of clear coat fading on the hood and on the roof especially. And this Land Cruiser has 242,000 miles and has also definitely been Yikes. This vehicle has definitely been driven into some parked cars. So neither of them are mint. So at the end of the day, who cares? Tommy's acting awfully suspicious because I've just noticed something that does not belong on the side of this Toyota. Pretty well attached too.
Is it not factory trail rated?
It's, I don't think in so many words.
Oh, really? I thought that was always there.
Not that exact terminology.
Whoever did it did a nice job. It looks really good there.
It did a substantial job. I definitely can't pry it off with my fingers. Is this a real trail rated badge?
That is a real trail.
So that's never coming off.
Well.
Vandal.
Oh. Yeah, that's on there pretty good now.
It is on there pretty good.
The next owner is going to bet the very first trail rated 100 series.
I'll have to decide if I need to pour acetone on it or something. And look, it's asymmetrical, which is even more upsetting. I can't believe Tommy put a trail rated badge on a Land Cruiser. If I knew that he was gonna do something like that, I would have brought a Ford badge to cover the oval Land Rover badge on his LR3, because his LR3 is a Ford. Now, Tommy is about to fly the drone, so he's a little occupied, and he does not expect any acts of retaliation, so it'll look pretty casual. That's better. Blaze seems upset because he's riding around in a Ford Explorer.
It's not an Explorer. Driving me up the wall with the Explorer top. Does it look like a Ford Explorer? Does it
Sounds like one.
It sounds marginally like a Ford Explorer, but it's got a different oil pan.
It's got a different oil pan.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that.
Screw you.
Point taken.
The route down the mountain is a solid 3 out of 10. Not that technical, some careful tire placement, and you should make it no problem. The hardest part is not the rocks, it's the incredible views that are constantly pulling at your attention. Once again, just the dramatic cliffs and falls that you experience in this area. It's almost undescribable. You just have to experience it yourself, and it totally makes sense why hundreds of movies throughout the years were filmed in this exact area. So this has just been a really nice route. I've really enjoyed, you know, this whole experience, being with Case, being with Blaze back there. He's been having a great time. We've got one more trail to finish up our journey. It's called Onion Creek. Gonna hit some water crossings, go through this really cool little slot canyon thing. So there's more fun to be had.
Okay, the last trail of our trip, Onion Creek, what do you think?
So I've actually never been on this trail until today, and I'm pretty blown away because there are some other trails similar to this that we've done in the past, things like Hurrah Pass, and I thought that the views there at Hurrah Pass were pretty unbeatable, but this, man, it might be just as good.
It's really cool because they're in this slot canyon the whole time.
And nothing is really that technical, but you do get a whole ton of these little water crossings, which are really fun.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a pretty great way to sign off the trip that we've had so far.
Now, Case, have you enjoyed our rugged adventure?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the adventure, and I have enjoyed both my Sequoia and your Ford Explorer, and watching these two SUVs do their thing, be exactly in the environment they were designed to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great trip. I couldn't have been more thankful to do it with you, and of course Blaze back here. And I think it was a really good itinerary. Look, we drove out from Denver the first day, did that whole thing through Arches on day one.
And then, of course, we did our thing yesterday, and now
We're going to get back to the trailhead by about lunchtime and drive back to Denver. So if you're coming out from Colorado, this is something you could easily do in a long weekend, or if you're coming from a little bit further, you don't have to get to the start of this adventure early in the morning. You can get here mid-afternoon and then leave around lunchtime on day 3 and still be able to make it back for work.
It's a hell of a sightseeing trip too. You really hit a lot in a short period of time. There's a lot of views, plenty of fun obstacles to test out your vehicle on a little bit, but nothing so extreme that you can't do it in most pretty much stock 4x4s.
I'd recommend a set of good tires and then just a good attitude and go hit it. But Case, we got to answer the question of these two, the Land Rover Discovery / LR3 and the Toyota Land Cruiser, which are you taking?
Look, for all of the grief that I've given you for the sake of having fun here, I really like LR3s a lot. You and I, we're both broken people and we love Land Rovers. I would certainly shop around for an LR3, but I gotta say, after this trip, I've definitely seen so much of why everybody loves these 100 Series Land Cruisers and every other Land Cruiser as well. This is an incredible machine, but for the money, I like an LR3.
I agree with you. I mean, if you're on a budget, the LR3 is a great option. If you're into, let's say, solo adventure over long distances, I think that the Land Cruiser is 15 grand well spent. Well, Case, let's air up, close this thing up, and hit the road.
I fixed it. Well, it's not strictly true, is it?
It's not a Ford Explorer. Did you hear about the oil pan? The oil pan is different, Case.
Oh, well, that's news to me. 2 awesome SUVs and an awesome group of trails here in Utah. Gotta say, even though these two are going on 22 years old roundabout, this is exactly where they're meant to be, and they just eat it up.
I know, and can you believe the Land Rover made it?
I know. The internet will think it's faked. They'll think we would have had a couple of these in the background that we kept cycling in when other ones broke.
So the total length of our rugged adventure, 106 miles from when we hit dirt to here, easily 3 days, and then this is the road. The back way to Moab, if you go that way, it's about 45 minutes to Moab, or go right to I-70, which is what we're gonna do.
Do you know what your fuel economy was at the end there?
Oh yeah.
And this is all off-road.
Survey says 8.1 MP miles per hour average. Fuel economy is, where is it? 7.4.
8.5 in the Land Cruiser.
Dang.
But I get it. You've got 2 fewer cylinders and 1 more gear in the transmission, so it only makes sense, right?
All right, we're cutting here, guys. Head on over to alltfl.com. Big thank you to Onyx for sponsoring this rugged adventure, and we'll see you in the next one.